Hey there! Welcome back to another live stream. This time around, I am going to be doing another audio commentary. This time, I'm going to be doing a live commentary on the 1987 science fiction classic RoboCop. Now, I'm just doing a little bit of some tweaks here. I forgot to do that honestly before I started. Forgot to do slow mode, so forgive me here. I'm just gonna set that up real quick, and I'm just gonna wait for more people to drop by until I start the commentary. Hey there, DJ. Hey there, Samuel. Hey there, Jesse. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. Had to go to work today. They called me in yesterday, so it was a day off, but wound up having to go to work earlier today. But it wasn't that bad of a shift or anything. It wasn't too stressful or crazy. Hey there, RJ. Now I figured honestly, while I'm waiting for more people to join the stream, I figured I would mention that Peter Weller, RoboCop himself, actually had a Reddit AMA recently on the art history subreddit, and I actually asked him a couple questions, and so did a bunch of other people. It's a fun it's a fun subreddit to like take a look at just to see what Peter's answers were. I didn't really get a chance to actually ask him anything when I saw him in person at a Comic-Con, a year ago, but I asked him about, like, what his favorite, Renaissance, art was because he's a art history major, and he has a PhD in art history, actually, and he, offered a couple answers to that. Then I asked him about, Screamers and about Leviathan in terms of what it was like, filming or being a part of those particular films, and he's all like, "Screamers was kicks, Leviathan was even more. The distinction is freezing in northern Quebec as opposed to summer in Rome. Love both films, but the weather ambiance made a difference." And then, I believe it was Matt, actually, Rambaraf, he asked a question about 50/50, and, Peter actually responded to that. He's like, "Loved, loved, loved that film. Loved Bob and Charlie Martin Smith. Had just pulled the plug on a romance, and that movie and Bob and Charlie saved my emotional butt. And by the way, I love the flick. I love the shooting the end in Rome. I miss those guys." So that was really, really cool. Really cool to see Peter Weller do something like that and answer people's questions. And it just made me respect him even more, to be perfectly honest, and love him even more than I already do. Jesse, I'm gonna go with the remake. Part three is bad, but the remake is more insulting to me. No, RJ, I actually haven't seen RoboDoc yet. I've heard some good things about it, but I still have not seen the movie yet. Hey there, Sean. Thanks again for all the requests, Sean. I'm gonna get to some of the ones that you sent in a while ago pretty soon. So I appreciate all of this stuff, and I also appreciate your patience. Hey there, Vegas. I miss Mike. I was thinking about you, and I'm getting my AI back. Build a RoboCop. We need one to take over AR robot. Robot dog to 3,000. Huh. Okay. I don't know exactly what you're trying to say here, but okay, cool. Yeah, Shakedown. I've seen that one. I think I have a review of that one on the channel, Jesse. Sean, I work at a retail store, at a retail clothing store. I'll just leave it at that. Thoughts on Peter Weller, not just as an actor, but as a director as well? I don't think he's really directed a ton. I think did he direct like an episode of uh Dexter or something? Um, from what I've seen, he seems to be a decent director. But he's definitely a better actor than he is a director. Hey there, Don. Hey there, Total Meltdown. Hey there, Will Ferrell number one. Yeah, it's definitely up there for me. Like I love RoboCop, so I'm gonna try to do the best I can to make this an entertaining and engaging commentary. Haven't done a commentary in a bit since I did Home Alone 3, so it might take me a bit to kind of get into the swing of things again. Sean, that's a that's a pretty big question. There's so many Bond movies. All I gotta say is I'm a really big fan of Timothy Dalton's Bond films, the two that he did. I think those are really underrated. So I'm just gonna once again just kind of wait a little bit, answer some questions, wait till a few more people kind of drop in and then really get into the commentary. How did I discover RoboCop? How did my fandom begin? It actually began with RoboCop 3 because my parents wouldn't let me watch R-rated films for a long time. So it began with RoboCop 3. I don't remember exactly how I saw it. I must have rented it or something on VHS, or maybe I saw it on TV. And I had fun with it. I liked it. I thought the character of RoboCop was cool. And even my dad even bought me the RoboCop 3 action figure, which is that guy right over there. And I didn't really watch the original RoboCop until later, along with RoboCop 2. But that's really where the introduction comes from, which is why I do have some nostalgia and I genuinely have a bit of a soft spot for RoboCop 3, but it's a very small soft spot because that film is still terrible. But I have to give it the credit for introducing me to RoboCop and starting my passion and love for that character. Favorite, least favorite Hitchcock movies? That's another one that take me a bit. There's that's a long one. There's a lot of Hitchcock films. President of South Florida and all those I'm those things. Power, the one using the bit. Okay. All right, cool. Cool, man. Uh it's one of my favorites for sure. I don't know if I would say it's my all-time favorite movie, but I don't really have an all-time favorite film because there's just too many movies I really like. Yeah, directed and guest starred in several episodes of Sons of Anarchy. Okay, all right, that's cool. Dawn discovered RoboCop when your dad showed it to you on TV at the beginning of 2011. Where do I watch the movies that I review? So it depends. If I have the film on physical media, I watch it on physical media. I watch my copy, either it's on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K. If I don't have it, then I watch it on a digital rip that I find from a certain website, and then I put it on a hard drive, and then I watch it on my Blu-ray player. Do I think RoboCop 3 would have been more successful if it was released when it was supposed to? No, I really don't, because it's still PG-13 and it's still bad, and Robert John Burke is no Peter Weller. You know what's funny? Judge Dredd I actually saw, I think, before RoboCop. because I had the VHS. That's cool, Vegas. I don't even necessarily agree that he's that great of an actor. Like, he's had some decent performances. He's at his best when he's not really saying that much, like in Dust Devil. First introduced to RoboCop as a character ever since you watched RoboCop 2 back in 2005, when you're 7 or 8. Cool. That's nice, Don. First R-rated movie you saw was Terminator 2. The first R-rated film I saw was Firestorm with Howie Long, because my dad took me because he was a fan of Howie Long, and we went and saw that. That was like that honestly has to be one of the lamest first R-rated films to ever see in the theater when you're a kid, like when you're younger. Like, of all things, Firestorm with Howie Long. Um, I did also see T3 in the theater, which is pretty cool. The first R-rated film that I saw in general, though, it might have been like Die Hard, because my mom let me watch that one. The only scene you like in RoboCop 3 is when the cops walk out on OCP. That is a good scene. What season? The sixth season of Cobra Kai? No, I haven't seen that yet. I didn't think he was that great in Thinner, but that's just me. But all right, it's been a little over 10 minutes. I am grabbing the movie right now, getting it all set up, ready to go. I have the director's cut, by the way, the unrated version. So if you only have the theatrical version, I don't really don't know what I really don't know what to say, because I was not gonna watch the theatrical version. So it's listed as the director's cut, but it kind of isn't, to be honest. It's more of just an unrated version of the movie. So just making sure the volume is not too crazy loud. And yeah, I got it set up now, and I'll answer a couple more questions, and then I will start watching the movie. Do I think Firestorm should have been PG-13? Yeah, it easily could have been. I don't think it would have made it any worse. North by Northwest. I haven't seen that in a long time. Remember it not being too bad. 12 back in 89 when you had your mom rent RoboCop. That's pretty awesome. That's cool. That was definitely a good rental. It is. Firestorm is lame. Do I like Kurtwood Smith? I love Kurtwood Smith. His performance in RoboCop as Clarence Boddicker is one of my favorite performances when it comes to an actor playing a villain. Um, cool, Sleepy Hollow. I don't have any movie snacks. I already have my snacks. I already ate before I decided to start the commentary. Yeah. Serve the public trust. Protect the innocent. Uphold the law. I hope they release a director's cut. There's a director's cut of that? I didn't know that. I did not know that there's a director's cut of Total Recall. All right. So I got the movie set up here, and want to give a shout out. I almost forgot. My apologies. Before I really start the movie, I want to give a shout out to Vontae for requesting this commentary. If there's another commentary you'd like to see me do in the future, or a film review, TV show review topic that you want to see me cover, feel free to donate to either my PayPal or to my Patreon. It's in the video description of my latest review, or you can put in a super chat and then mention what you want me to do or want me to cover in the future in the super chat if that's something that you want to do instead. So yeah, um, got the movie all ready to go. No, I haven't seen RoboDoc yet. I know I need to watch that. Yeah, Ronnie Cox was amazing. He was so great in RoboCop. So, all right. Speaking of RoboCop, let's watch RoboCop. I'm gonna do the same thing that I've done before, where I will do a countdown. I will go from 3 down to 1. When I say press play, and then hopefully your copy of the movie will be synced up with mine. So, all right, 3, 2, 1, pressing play. So I got the MGM logo here. This is the new MGM logo because this is the newer restoration that I'm watching. It looks kind of weird because it's not the logo from back in the day, but it wasn't always an MGM movie. It was a Orion film. As you can see, you got the Orion Pictures logo popping up here. And then you got this opening, which I've always thought was really cool, like this shot of the city and then the title popping up. Then we have Media Break, which back when this film came out, Media Break was something that was kind of new. Now you get that like every day when you go on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. If you're following a political account or some kind of political content creator. Yeah, I miss the Orion opening as well. They did it. There was a new Orion that started releasing films like recently. This is just such a clever way to structure your film as if you're watching television in the universe of this movie with all these advertisements and media break segments. This is just another instance of it being way ahead of its time because when this movie came out, artificial hearts was something that was probably considered to be not that common and not that easy to obtain, and now it's like a lot easier to get a hold of an artificial heart. There's good old Iron Bud himself, Dick Jones. There's Clarence Boddicker. So in the novelization for RoboCop, there's a lot more detail and depth about Fredrickson and about Murphy and his former precinct and all of this other stuff. I love this bit by Reed. Take Laughing Boy with you. Matt, I don't think RoboCop 3 is really worth watching, but that's just me personally. Robert Doquey was just so great in this as Sergeant Reed, and of course you got Peter Weller, you know, the man himself as Alex Murphy, RoboCop. He wasn't the original casting choice that a lot of the people involved with the movie had in mind, though. In fact, they spent like 8 months trying to find the right guy, and they were looking at Schwarzenegger, Rucker Hauer, Tom Berenger, Amon DeSante, Keith Carradine, James Remar, Michael Ironside, but they eventually went with Peter Weller, and the rest is history. Decided not to go with Schwarzenegger because he would look like the Michelin Man in the suit. So Peter being more wiry, thinner, definitely did make it a lot easier for him to fit inside of the suit that Rob Bottin built and created for the film. And Peter also wound up utilizing a mime who trained him mime techniques to make the robotic movements all the more fluid and interesting. What the hell is this guy on? Like super PCP? Now we're here we have Anne Lewis. Great introduction to her as a character, just taking care of that suspect, kicking his ass. Nancy Allen was just a really great, inspired bit of casting. She was actually a last minute replacement for Anne Lewis because originally it was Stephanie Zimbalist from Remington Steele who was cast in the role, and then she wound up getting uh, replaced by Nancy Allen because she had to leave because there was I think there was a delay with the production or something, so she couldn't actually do the film because she had other obligations. I think she had to go back and do Remington Steele. Um, I think that turned out for the best. Here we have the OCP logo. I think this is the first time you see it. That's another really iconic, memorable thing about this movie. Then you just have there you have Kinney, you got Bob Morton, talking about Ed 209, and then you have Johnson, of course, as well. This film honestly has one of the best supporting casts in any film, if you ask me. So many talented character actors playing, multiple different roles and making an impact. You got Dan O'Harely here, the old man who was also Colonel Cochran, I believe, in Halloween 3. Now the whole concept with OCP, Delta City, and just OCP being so involved in the city and the government at the time, it was considered science fiction that a corporation would be that involved and have their hands in so many different things involving our everyday lives. But now it's just a reality. and it's not science fiction at all. It's more fact. So it's another instance of this film being way ahead of its time when it comes to its screenplay by Ed Neumeyer and Michael Miner. Got Dick Jones here, Ronnie Cox. Ronnie Cox was cast by Paul Verhoeven because of the fact that Ronnie Cox had pretty much played nothing but good guys and really nice guys throughout his entire career. So it's a rare instance of an actor who was typecast in a certain role and then cast in an outside of the box way that paid off brilliantly. In fact, I don't even remember Ronnie Cox for the good guy roles that he played. I remember him for Dick Jones and RoboCop or Copenhagen and Total Recall. Great reveal for Ed 209 here. I love the look of Ed 209. It definitely looks like something that they kinda rushed into production. It doesn't look like it's that polished. And then you got the stop motion effects by, Tippett, uh, which in my opinion still hold up really well, because Phil was just a master of stop motion. See, it's not even really a commentary about, "Oh, the Ed 209 will police the streets." It's more about the Ed 209 is gonna enable us to sell more military contracts. Poor Kenny here. He doesn't know what is coming. He has no idea. I love the Ed growling there. This is honestly such a clever way to make it so you'll get RoboCop, because they tried something else and then it failed in spectacular, unpredictable fashion. I mean, look at this shit. He gets turned into like meat patties. The guy is completely shredded. I mean, look at this fucking shit, man. This was cut out of the theatrical version because it was too bloody. But it's honestly really funny because nobody has that much blood in them. And this has to be, in some ways, a little bit of an inspiration for the creators of South Park when it comes to the Kenny character. Kenny. Oh my god, they killed Kenny. Call this a glitch. Then we got Bob Morton here, Miguel Ferrar with his RoboCop project. Miguel was just such a excellent bit of casting as well to play this guy who he's not necessarily as outwardly evil as Dick Jones or Clarence Boddicker, but, like, he's still a guy who will step on people, do whatever he can possibly do in order to rise up the ranks. So he's definitely more than a little bit of an asshole, but he's genuinely, entertaining in the way that he does it. Like, he's absolutely a prick, but he's fun to watch. Wonder how many times, Peter had to practice that, gun trick in order to get that right. Burnt the money! I love Boddicker, and I love his gang in this movie. It's honestly, I would probably say, my favorite gang of bad guys in any movie. Like, the entire cast here, the way they play their characters, they're really, fun to watch. They have great chemistry. And they're definitely, like, despicable, awful people, like Leon and so on and so forth, and all the other guys, but you love to hate them. And then you got, Basil Polidoris's, score here, which is another very key element of this movie. It's just such a rousing, epic score. It's got a lot of pathos to it, though, too, as well as other layers and elements of depth. Of course, you got that quote, "Can you fly, Bobby?" Such a great way to show how ruthless your villain is. He will literally just sacrifice his own men in order to get away from the cops. Does not give a shit. It'll throw you out of the back of the van like a sack of shit. Oh, that's cool. The stuntman, Freddie Heiss. What do you think about it? It probably wasn't the smartest thing for Lewis and Murphy to try to make this bust by themselves, considering it's an entire gang. But at the same time, they'd be waiting for backup that would never get there because of how rough things were with the police department. Mind if I zip this up? She hesitated way too long there. Way too long. That laugh, man. I love that. Yeah, Jesse D. Goins, if I remember correctly. It's Cox. That's it's a bit of foreshadowing there. Those things will kill you. Yeah. He's dead. I like that it also establishes that there are certain phrases that Murphy uses that are unique to him, and that's why he carries it over as RoboCop, and why it makes sense that he would say something like, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." Ray Wise is Leon. You had Calvin Jung there is Steve Min. And of course, Paul McCrane is Emil. I know what's coming, but there's still some really good tension here, even though I know exactly what's going to happen next. Super Cop, which by the way was a title that the writers actually initially thought of for the movie until they decided to call it RoboCop instead. Buddy, I think you're slime. I don't like cops. Just the way he toys with him, and then just the visceral violence. And then the whole, like, "Give the man a hand," like, it's so sadistic and dark and twisted. Establishes these villains as just loathsome creatures that you wanna see, get taken out. And it's just so tragic and traumatic when it comes to, like, Murphy's death in the unrated version here. Blows his arm off, shot his entire hand off, pumping him full of multiple rounds of shotgun blasts. Just imagine being in his shoes in that situation, just how painful and just how horrible and horrifying that would be. Like, it's honestly something out of a horror film, if you think about it. Does it hurt? Amazing practical effects too by Robo. Ugh, right in the head. Yep, he definitely has a twisted sense of humor. Yeah, I could see why it would be horrifying for you, at age 11. Yeah, Austin, like, everything that happens to Alex in that scene is something that hurts like shit. I I don't know I don't know how that would work, inserting RoboCop into any of those movies. I really love Verhoeven's direction as a whole throughout this entire film, but there are moments in particular that really stand out, and this is definitely one of them. How he used different angles, how he shot this entire sequence, and then how everything transitions into his brain being put into the body of RoboCop while they're working on building it. It's great use of zooms, up close shots here. Mixes in POV stuff too, as if you're in his place during his last moments. And then just the way that it edits in, like, his memories seeping in with the audio of the ER people trying to bring him back to life. The shot here where it just pans out, and then coupled with, Polidorus's emotional score, just so damn good. And the editing too, just excellent. Ugh. This one was a great example of a screenplay and a story where, okay, we actually have not seen RoboCop yet. We're like 26 minutes in and we actually haven't seen RoboCop. But the way that it's written, it's still really engaging, it's still entertaining. It's not boring, and it's just building anticipation in terms of actually seeing RoboCop. I love the RoboVision idea too. Little touches like that, showing the grid being put in. Lose the arm. That was the right call by Morton, to be honest. Lose the arm. This is a fun bit. He's like shaking his hand and then it won't let go. Be one. Yeah, I love that. You're gonna be one bad motherfucker. Now, that is a line in the TV version that's really funny, to be honest. He just says, "You're gonna be one bad mother crusher." I was like, "What? Mother crusher?" And then you have New Year's with Robo. Here we go. Here's the reveal. That's really cool that how they change the view and it you're looking through Robo's eyes at this point. You see a glimpse of RoboCop there on the television screen, and then it cuts to this moment at the police station when RoboCop arrives. That's great. I'm what you call a repeat offender. I will repeat. I will offend again. This is bullshit. And he stops in mid sentence as soon as he sees RoboCop. Like, yeah, you would. If you saw this thing walking around, yeah, you would be speechless too. What is this shit? I love the sound effects they use for RoboCop as well. The different whirring and different sounds that show up and you hear when he's moving around. It just really adds to the effective illusion of this man in a suit actually being a robot cop. You got the baby food bit here. Johnson enjoys that baby food too much. Like, really, dude? Where'd you develop a taste for baby food as an adult? Weller's performance in this, in my opinion, is just absolutely tremendous. Doesn't get enough credit. Genuinely Oscar worthy, if you ask me, because he plays multiple different roles convincingly. I fucking love that guy too. I mean, he easily could have just played it like a man in a suit, but he added so much emotion and so much raw human elements to him playing RoboCop. You got the Auto 9 here. Like, what a badass way to introduce your protagonist's weapon. Just completely destroying this target and annihilating it. With his fucking gun. The Auto 9 is honestly one of my favorite guns in any movie. Then you get that little subtle touch there. He flips it just like Murphy did. And you get that almost a little bit of maybe a bit of recognition there from Lewis, where she's like, huh, where'd he learn that from? This particular take, when RoboCop catches the keys, that was a take that took way too long because of the fact that the gloves that Peter was wearing were like really clunky and not very easy to grab things. And so they did that take like it was like 50 times or something. Then you get the first time you hear the RoboCop theme by Basil, and it's just awesome. This score is instantly iconic from the moment you first hear it. I'd buy that for $1 and then some when it comes to Basil's score. I would love to get that on CD, to be honest. Now we have the supermarket or the convenience store scene. It's not really a supermarket. Feel bad for this old couple. We don't have a safe, man. But there it is. They found the safe. Good bit of casting when it comes to this guy who's playing the robber. It's definitely pretty intimidating. This bit right here in the TV version is hilarious. Because instead of the guy going, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, he's going, why me? Why me? Why me? It's just absolutely badass. Thank you for your cooperation. Good night. This entire montage of RoboCop just going around, cleaning up the streets, taking out criminals is just peak. Now we have these psychos won't leave this woman alone. There is there's something called our RoboCop remake where a bunch of RoboCop fans, they shot different, scenes from the movie and remade them, and one guy or I think it was a whole crew, they remade this scene, and it's, like, the most graphically violent, over the top sequence where RoboCop is shooting everybody in the dick and, like, shooting guys' dicks and balls off, and it's, done practically with practical effects. It is insane. It's like, you think the idea of him just shooting the guy in the dick by itself is just wild and crazy as it is, but our RoboCop remake thing just takes it to a whole other level. Move, creep. Rape Crisis Center. Peter's deadpan when he's RoboCop is really funny, actually. This is a really good idea to have, like, a hostage scenario involving a city official. The way politics are, like, I'm surprised we haven't had a moment like this yet in the United States. Probably did, but I'm surprised it hasn't happened recently. Hey there, Vontae. Thanks for the super chat. Do I have Rogue City? I do actually. I do have Rogue City available to play. I got it off of Steam. I haven't played it yet though. Would I let RoboCop crash on my floor for a night? Sure. I don't know if I'd have space for Robo, but I'd try to make some space for him. You can go stay in the spare bedroom. I love that. Something with reclining seats and something that goes really fast and gets really shitty gas mileage. When people jerk me off, I go. Is that really what he said? Is he really talking about the same thing that people think he's talking about? Here you got the thermograph bit. I didn't know for a long time that it was just people wearing thermograph suits, but that's exactly how they did the effect. That's just such a great stunt. Just grabbing the guy through the wall and then punching him out the window. Then you have this media break segment. Robo turns around, scares the shit out of the kids. I wonder if that was even like the way it was set up. I wonder if that was like improvised. It almost looks like it's just an actual reaction from the kids when Robo turns around and stay out of trouble. It's honestly some great advice, Robo. And Nukem. This is so hilarious. This is just warped, but so funny. Nukem. Get them before they get you. A new home game for Butler Brothers. And Dick Jones is not too happy about that. This is a really a great scene where Bob is just insulting Dick Jones, calling him a pussy, and he has no idea that he's in the bathroom. And then everybody just write it out, and then he just starts to realize that in there that oh shit, oh fuck, Dick was he was actually in the bathroom, and just how far Dick takes it here. The TV version is also really funny here because yeah, Iron Butt, boner, asshole. Because in the TV version, he calls him Airhead. What's I even called him? Airhead. You could just tell that Ronnie Cox relished playing a bad guy here. but he's not gonna live forever. Fucked with wrong guy. You made a mistake. You made a mistake, Bob. Paul Verhoeven as director, he actually wasn't the first choice. The first choice was Jonathan Kaplan, who went on to direct Project X. And then they tried to get other people to direct the movie until they decided to give it to Paul. David Cronenberg was offered the film, as well as Alex Cox and Monty Hellman. And Michael Miner even asked to direct, but Orion was like, no, we're not giving you $7 million to direct your first movie. It was definitely the right choice to have Verhoeven direct this film. I don't think this film would be anywhere near as good if someone else directed it. His tendency to really embrace the over the top nature of the action scenes, the violence, as well as just his daring nature as a director was just such a great fit for this movie. God, I just love this score by Basil, man. It's so good. This is already a really strong scene as it is, but with that score, it just elevates it to another level. She knows what his name is. Murphy, it's you. The acting here by Peter is just really underrated. Not even saying a single word, showing the emotion, showing Murphy starting to remember who he is in that very moment with just movement. Incredible. Just that little subtle walk back, like stunned look on his face. Yep, it's product of OCP.
Morton's got a point, though. I mean, there's no reason to shut him down just because he had a dream. You don't really know exactly the full details of that yet. I love that. Forget a kid. This guy's a serious asshole. This bit here, like, I feel so sorry for this guy. Like, he's just trying to do his studies for college. Some assholes holding him up at gunpoint. That's gotta be such a stressful job too. Like, even though, like, you have the bulletproof glass and everything, like, you're alone, it's at night, especially if you're working in, like, a pretty shitty neighborhood. Yeah, the guy's just, like, playing geometry. Yeah, he is. Oh, shit. Good thing RoboCop showed up. "We killed you. You're dead." Another instance of just great acting by Peter. He's just frozen. He's like, "Oh my god. He did. They did kill me. What how am I still here?" Yeah, I mean, Emil isn't the smartest guy. Oh, good, the guy does escape. I forgot the guy does escape. Good. The college guy escapes. He doesn't get blown up. That explosion, man. That is wild. Massive. Apparently, I think I read that they weren't even planning on the explosion to be that big, and that it just was way bigger than they had anticipated. And it just actually turned out to be positive. Worked really well in their favor. I love this particular shot, with Robo walking in front of the flames in the shadows at night. Even the extra bit of emotion that Peter added there. "Who are you?" Like, this anger. What the heck is Louis Tully doing here? Rick Moranis. I love that. He basically was, like, flipping him off. Hey, thanks again for the super chat, Vontae. Have ever played the Demolition Man game for the 3DO? No, I've never played that. I looked at a little bit of it because I on the same site that I used to play, RoboCop 2 on the arcade, did they have the Demolition Man 3DO game on there? But I didn't play it. In a lot of ways, the data spike thing is also kind of ahead of its time because it's equivalent of a USB stick. That wasn't a thing. You couldn't look up data by sticking something into a computer in, other unless you're, like, looking up data on a floppy disk in 1987. I like how it edits in Murphy, it's you here. And then the way Basil score just slowly builds. This entire sequence is, in my opinion, one of the things that really makes RoboCop a masterpiece, because it really adds a certain nuance, a certain layer to it that goes beyond the satire, the action, the explosions, the gunplay, and provides it with some genuine, real, and raw human emotion. And like Peter's acting in this entire scene is honestly why he deserved an Oscar nomination for playing RoboCop. Just the way that he's able to show all the different emotions that's going on inside his head when he's having all these flashbacks and remembering his past and who he once was. And of course, Basil's score is definitely something that really, really helps. Yep, heartbreaking. It's everything that he lost. It was fitting too that like a lot of the stuff was like burnt up, or there's like little remnants that are actually left behind from his previous life that he could actually touch and interact with. So it's not just an empty house. Like there's actually things that can really hammer home the reality of it. That he was once alive. He was once a man. And it wasn't always a machine. It's just that moment too. I love it. The look on Peter's face, the just sheer frustration and angst, and then smashing the screen. This was a really hard scene for Peter to film because he couldn't see anything. He couldn't really see much of anything anyway when he was playing RoboCop, because of the fact that the visor was just the only thing you could see through. It's just this little slit. So he's basically walking blind most of the time. I think he mentioned he almost fell down the stairs. What are you thinking, Leon? That was Paul Verhoeven there. That little quick shot there of him dancing. Also, it looks like a fun club. Yeah, they're totally intelligent. They're Mensa. I mean, this could be a fun time too, man. I guarantee there are people who saw this movie and then did this shit later. Like, oh man, that'd be so much fun. Put cocaine on your tits, and I'll snort it off. Cocaine was huge in the 80s. Like, that is definitely something that somebody was inspired by when they saw this. Ah, bitches leave. Or in the TV version, ladies leave. I mean, just the way he toys with him too. That's a Boddicker thing. He just fucks with you before he kills you. Shoot him in the knees. That's another thing that's ahead of its time. It's a DVD. It's a DVD. That did not exist back in 87. I mean, there was a laser disc. I mean, there was laser discs, I think, but not a DVD. That's a CD that plays video. I love that touch there where he takes the top off the grenade with his mouth. Just sets it there. Cashing you out, Bob. That's one powerful ass fucking grenade, man. Yeah, that's a good point, Don. That Clarence actually works for Dick Jones. That was a genuinely shocking moment. I love this scene. Another scene that just really establishes Clarence's engaging personality. See why so many people follow him. The guy in the plaid red shirt here, he was actually a pretty major character in an underrated film called Hunter's Blood from the 80s. That was weird. Put your hand in wine. Rip your stupid wop ass. You shit snow for a week. Snow show for a year. Guns, guns, guns. Thinking tonight. I'm never Muskie. And you're like, oh man, like this is a really fun scene. And then it just gets even better because then RoboCop shows up and kicks a metric ton of ass. One of my favorite shootout scenes in any movie, to be honest. It's so good. I love this guy. Oh, fuck you. And then of course Basil's heroic score synced up with everything. Ugh. I watch this over and over again. Never get tired of it. It's so fucking awesome. Boom. Love that shot there where he shoots him up from he just starts firing. I love that he's firing up and shooting at him, as well as firing on the ground. It's just such a great scene. So really well choreographed. Of course, the practical blood squibs and everything. Like everything that I love about 80s action movies. I love that. I just love that pose he makes. Just throws him through all the windows. That's a really clever idea too. Instead of him just punching him repeatedly, he just keeps throwing him through all these windows. And then Botiker's just like, "What is this shit?" That's why he takes him in. Hey there, Freddie. Thanks for the super chat. Is it true that RoboCop was inspired by Judge Dredd? Yeah, it is actually. In fact, the writers I think they wrote a script for Dredd, but couldn't get the rights, so they decided to write something else. He's a cop killer. Like you have that great moment, then you have Botiker's reaction, and then this bit. One great moment after another. Just give me my fucking phone call. I don't think Tom Selleck would have been a good RoboCop. No, Rucker Hauer might have pulled it off. Of course he does. He knows who has the real power. Forgive me if I have some moments here I haven't really been saying much, but it's because I'm just enjoying the movie. I don't really have much to say. I love how Dick Jones is like, "Yeah, come on in, RoboCop. I've been expecting you," because he knows what he has in store for him. He knows that RoboCop can't do anything to him because of Directive 4, which is a really great idea too. Directive 4, and then also to bring in Ed 209 again too. This is totally the kind of shit that a corporate asshole would do in terms of, putting something into the programming of, their product. It wasn't revealed to him earlier because it's hidden. If he knew about it before, he might have tried to do something about it prior to this moment. And also, it just made for a nice surprise. This whole bit is just a great way to show RoboCop being still vulnerable despite the fact that he's this machine now, with all this state of the art technology and steel, titanium plating and all this other stuff and weaponry, and he still can be hurt. Even as RoboCop, he can still be damaged. Such a great and amazing showdown between the Ed 209 and RoboCop. I always love the look of battle damage to RoboCop too, with all the pieces of him falling off, the visor being cracked. Ever since they're just great practical effects by Robotine in terms of the suit. Some shots you can in HD, you can kind of see some of the like I saw the string there on the missile, but it doesn't bother me. It adds to the charm of the movie. I don't think that adds to the charm of the movie. It's just the simple fact that Ed 209 can't go down the stairs. That's so funny. It's like, oh, what, where, uh. And then the squeal that, yeah, the squealing it makes when it's on his back. It's like, ah, hilarious. Definitely one of the funniest moments in the movie. Yeah, I'm glad that never happened either. We don't need DNR RoboCop. This scene is so tragic. And he was already shot to shit when he was Murphy by Boddicker and his men, and now he's being shot at by his own fellow cops. Now they're turning their guns on him and firing and unloading all their bullets on him. Love the way Verhoeven shoots this entire sequence too. And then the way that Basil's score is also inserted into the sequence, just chef's kiss. Oh, so good. And I love how Lewis is directly involved here. How she comes back to help her partner. Thanks again for another super chat, Vontae. It always pissed me off that RoboCop 3 looked kind of like a TV movie, nor the Revenge of RoboCop 2. I can agree with that, man. Like, really, it definitely doesn't look that great in comparison to the first or the second film. Even though it actually had a decent budget. Here we have the advertisement for the Tesla Cybertruck. Oh wait, no, the 6000 SUX. To be honest, that's exactly what it fucking is. The Tesla Cybertruck is the 6000 SUX of today's generation. Yeah, Austin, the aero transfer is really good for RoboCop. The transfer for RoboCop 2 though is also great by Scream Factory, especially the 4K. I think this is just some random guy they interviewed. I don't even think it was an actor. Just some random junkie on the street. This lady here, the receptionist, it's actually his wife. I bet she had a blast. She had a blast giving him the stink eye and then being like, "He's expecting you, Mr. Boddicker." It's a good way to set up Clarence facing off against RoboCop again. You could you could actually see that he's legitimately intimidated by the by the idea of having to try to take out RoboCop, try to confront him again. But now, Dick's offering him all this money, all this power. So he's like, "Sure, fine. I'll go after RoboCop again." I love that line. We practically are the military. Then you have this scene coming up, which I also really like, when RoboCop takes his helmet off, looks at himself in the mirror, sees what they've done to him. Another added human element to this movie that just makes it so much better. Something that was completely missing from, I wouldn't say completely missing from the second movie, but there wasn't as much of it in the second movie as I would have liked. It was definitely not really there in the third film. And there was a lot of stuff with RoboCop and his family in the remake, but it never really felt like it was real or genuine, like these moments. And this scene definitely, I remember when I first saw this, like, I don't know, I expected maybe it would be more gruesome, he'd take his helmet off and it'd be like a skull or something, you know? But no, it's not, but it's still freaky though with the skin stretched over this metal shell. Another instance of Peter just masterclass of acting here. The amount of emotions he was able to showcase without saying a word, astounding. Could feel them, but I can't remember them. Such a sad line. More astounding acting by Willer there. I don't know what his backstory was. Well, hey, I'm not hating on RoboCop 2. I really like RoboCop 2. I'm just saying that I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the human element that was in this. There's David Lee Roth. Man, I completely forgot to David Lee Roth had an appearance in RoboCop. This is another fun scene, to be honest. Of course, you got the "I'd buy that for $1." Buy that for $1. I love this idea that he got the 6,000 SUX, and then they blow it up later with the Cobra Assault Cannon. State of the art, bang bang. He was like, "Wait a minute, Clarence, don't blow up my new car." What the fuck? Ah, shit. Ah, God damn it. Nice car, Joe. I love the Cobra Assault Cannon. Like, the design of it is awesome. It's a really cool looking gun, and then the damage it does is devastating. I like it. I do too. You know what? I miss these movies that have, like, these special guns. I don't really see that as much nowadays. Like, there was a little bit of that in John Wick 4, which is cool, like the dragon gun or whatever, that dragon breath or something. But a lot of the time, it's just regular old guns. Like, I've missed that kinda stuff where they invented new kinds of guns, like an eraser with those guns that Arnold had in that movie. Cobra Assault Cannon. I mean, yeah, totally. At a safe distance, with the safe environment, I'd love to try the Cobra Assault Cannon or an Auto 9. I wonder if a little bit of, like, the whole thing of shooting the baby food is like an extra bit of, Murphy just trying to get out some frustration about his, situation. Fucking baby food. Now I'm more machine than man. They killed me, brought me back to life as this freak. I have to eat fucking baby food. Fuck this baby food. I like this scene. I like this entire scene with Lewis and Murphy. Really solidifies their partnership even more. Like, get the fuck out of here, Gerber. Never to eat baby food again. No, but of course he has to, because imagine how humiliating that would be. Oh, I'm hungry. Time to eat baby food, you know? And you're not a baby. I like how the ending is a little bit of, like, things coming full circle too, because it's a confrontation in this abandoned, uh, warehouse of sorts, which I think in a lot of ways is, like, the same location that, uh, Boddicker and his men gunned down Murphy at. I love him using his smarts there. There goes Joe. Took his ass out. This entire climactic action sequence is just killer. And you could tell that Ray Wise just had an absolute blast playing Leon. I think it I think it actually was one of his favorite roles that he ever did. And then you got this idea. This is so insane. Remember when I first saw this, I was like, wait, he just went into a vat of toxic waste. Oh shit, this is not gonna end well. Then you're thinking, okay, he's just gonna like melt or something, or it's just gonna be like a real quick thing. No, you have Rob Bottin's makeup here, and he's like, he looks like a monster. And then the scream of pain by Paul McCrane too. It's just like, ugh. This is like body horror shit. That's what this is. I have this little chase here with Lewis and Boddicker. I love this bit here. It's like, ah, it's me. So don't touch me, man. Help me. It's like, hey, it's a little taste of what Paul McCrane would wind up dealing with when he got eaten by the Blob a year later in 1988. Oh, definitely. And then that bit is like, oh shit. Just the splat. He just goes splat. Well, at least put him out of his misery, because I can't imagine the pain. Just melting. Yeah, he definitely got it the worst. I love that Lewis is the one that gets the shot and takes out Leon. Gave her a moment. Gave her a nice moment. I love that line. I'm not arresting you anymore. But of course, before Leon, gets taken out though, he delivers a pretty big blow to RoboCop. Makes you think, oh, they've got him. They took him out. And then Lewis just blows Leon to Kingdom Come. And it's all a setup for this just really awesome moment here. The conclusion to Boddicker and Murphy's battle with one another. Stabs him. You got that scream of pain. Sayonara, RoboCop, and then data spike to the fucking neck. Such a crowd pleasing, satisfying demise for Boddicker. Oh, I bet at some point he definitely recognized that it was him. I'll fix you. They fix everything. I love that line too. I'm glad we never got Robo Lewis though. I know some fans have talked about how they would have wanted that. No, we don't. We don't need that. We don't need Robo Lewis. That would have been really silly. Like if the movie ended and she's another RoboCop, that would have been dumb. I'm really glad that they didn't do that. This is another crowd pleasing moment. Like just crowd pleasing moments one after another in this movie. At 209. Yeah, nah, you're gonna get blown the fuck up. It's like, I'm not playing with you this time. And then the smirk, the little smirk that Murphy has there. It's like, fuck you, Ed. That's an interesting question. Did he actually feel pain or was he pretending? I like that theory. Probably was pretending, like, 'cause I don't really think he could feel any actual pain. That just shows how smart Murphy is. He's just like, "I can't do anything unless you allow me to act against him." So, I'll just show you some evidence now. It's time to erase that mistake. I love Dan O'Harely here. His line delivery coming up. "Dick, you're fired!" "Thank you." Boom. Auto 9 right out the window. Yeah, I know the shot of him with the long arms. It's a shot that's like 10 seconds. Doesn't bother me. Don't have a problem with it. Doesn't need to be fixed. It had to do with the camera angle or something that they shot the effect in. They didn't actually make the puppet have long arms. Then, of course, you have this last shot here, Murphy, and then the smile, and then the score by Beza Portoris to round everything up. Just a masterpiece. Just such a great movie, and also just immensely entertaining. It's such a fun movie to watch, despite its darker subject matter. It's brilliant in so many different ways. Way ahead of its time when it comes to multiple different elements of social commentary. The implementation of more technology and everyday life, the usage of corporations and them being directly involved with society in places that a lot of people didn't necessarily think of. The yuppie business guy as the villain. Uh, just a lot of just really ahead of its time, brilliant stuff, and an amazing cast. Uh, One of the best scores, in my opinion, that you could ever ask for out of any movie by Basil Polidoris. Just such a special, great movie, if you ask me, and definitely one of my favorites. It's one of those few films too where I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing significantly wrong with RoboCop. I think it still holds up phenomenally well after all of these years as well. Yeah, I agree, Austin. Lewis wasn't damaged enough to be RoboCop. That's just not necessary. Hey, Dick is overconfident. He's cocky. He probably never thought that RoboCop would ever be able to show the recording because he thought that he was going to kill him. Thought he was going to take out RoboCop. Yeah, it's just a perfect way to close the film. Got his humanity back. Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy. Who would I recast? Would I with the Nancy Allen role if she said no? No, I don't know. I don't really know who I would have recast. I doubt that she would have. I mean, I don't think she would have said no. To this day, it's arguably one of her most iconic roles of her entire career, and she had done other stuff prior to it, but nothing really that left as much of an impression on a lot of people as Lewis did. Yeah, it's a big risk, but Dick Jones doesn't care. He's a cocky bastard. Yeah, one of my all-time favorites as well. It's also one of the few films, like, I haven't seen in the theater in 35 millimeter, and I would really love to see it. I really wanna see RoboCop in 35 millimeter, in a theater with an audience. So, yeah, that was fun. That was definitely enjoyable, rewatching RoboCop. It's always a fun time watching RoboCop, and by RoboCop, I definitely mean the original, like, not the remake. That's not a fun time. Oh, yeah, there was supposed to be another media break. Yeah, I saw that deleted scene. It's not that great, and, it wasn't necessary. It really would have hurt the final scene, would have made it have less impact. So, I'm glad that they didn't do that because it wasn't necessary. It wasn't needed. Such a just a gorgeous, beautiful score by Basil Bordoris. Why the hell wasn't he nominated for an Oscar for this score? There's so many things about this film that should have won an Oscar, and I think it I don't know if it did. I think it might have won an Oscar for something, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Might have been sound editing or something. I know that RoboCop did show up at the Oscar ceremony in 1988, and there's that weird moment where he took out the Ed 209, and then also Pee Wee Herman was there. Like, he saved Pee Wee Herman from the Ed 209 with, like, a laser gun. That is a fever dream of a clip, to be honest. Um, RoboCop versus the Ed 209 at the Oscars. It's like, what the hell were they thinking with that? I can see that, but I never thought it was that awkward. I was like, "I get it, man." You know, he regained his humanity. Ugh, so good. So, yeah, that's RoboCop. That's, my, live, fan commentary of the film. Hope you enjoyed it. Um, might have had some parts where I wasn't really saying much, or I was trying to quote the movie, but I was behind. But I hope it was still, worth a watch. Yeah, RoboCop was also in WCW, Capital Combat 1990. That was strange. It was cool though to see RoboCop with Sting, who's my favorite wrestler. It's like my favorite fictional character with my favorite wrestler. That's a pairing I never thought I'd ever see. It doesn't fit, it doesn't match, it's not good. It's a lot of cringe if you actually watch the RoboCop appearance at Capital Combat. But it's still one of those things where it's kind of cool to see, I guess, but it's completely unnecessary. It was one of those things where like, oh, if it's a photo shoot, okay, cool. But like actually some kind of wrestling thing with RoboCop being involved in the match, like bad. And the suit was bad. It was like falling apart when the guy was like walking down this down the ramp and everything. I've read something like a rumor that Peter was the one in the suit. And honestly, that's a question I wish I asked Peter about. I'm like, "Were you actually in the suit at Capital Combat 1990, the WCW pay-per-view, or was that somebody else?" Because I would have really been surprised if that really was Peter Weller who showed up at Capital Combat. I think Peter might have been in like some of the promos in the suit, but I don't think he actually was the one that was at the pay-per-view because that really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Probably was too busy shooting Naked Lunch. As bad as that bit was with RoboCop and WCW, it's short, so I'd rather watch that appearance than RoboCop 3 again or um or the remake. Well, I mean, Austin Weller was like roasting his ass off in the RoboCop suit, like for the first film in particular. Like it was really bad, like so bad they had to install like a fan inside of the suit because he was just losing tons and tons of body weight just due to sweating so much. Which makes his performance even more incredible considering everything that he was dealing with while he was shooting that film. Could barely see anything with the helmet on, roasting his ass off, and sweating pounds away, and still delivering a incredible performance. He liked the suit for RoboCop 2 better because they made it lighter and they made it so it wasn't as hot, and also made it so it was a lot easier to move around in. So, and I think I saw something that with RoboCop 3, Peter was actually willing to do it, but Orion wasn't willing to wait for him to be available. So they just went ahead without him because Orion shot RoboCop 3 right after RoboCop 2. Like it was intended to come out in 1991, but then it didn't come out until years later. Yeah. It was hard on him, but it was absolutely 100% worth it. And I know it took a lot of money and a lot of time to wait for Peter to be a part of RoboDoc, but I'm really glad that they made it work out, and I'm really glad that Peter he's really come to appreciate and love Robo. Like for a while, it seemed like he was a kind of annoyed and a little irritated with the fact that he was most remembered for RoboCop, and he didn't want to talk about RoboCop, didn't want to do this or that, didn't really want to do that much or really have anything to do with RoboCop for a while. But after a certain amount of time, it seems like he's genuinely started to remember, the good times and has fallen, and I wouldn't say maybe not in love with the character, but he's definitely gained a lot of appreciation for the character and for the role and what it did for his career. But I like it too that he's also still a really big fan of Buckaroo Banzai. Yeah, he definitely dodged a bullet with that one, with RoboCop 3. But yeah, I'm just gonna let a few more questions come in a little bit. Metal Face Doom, I had slow mode on. I have slow mode on because sometimes I have people pop in who are trying to be trolls, so that's why I have slow mode on. Metal Face Doom, to prevent that from happening. People spamming the chat, doing all that kind of stuff. Austin, he talked about it a little bit in the Reddit AMA. He hasn't, and he's done some other bits where he's discussed it, but not really a whole lot. I think there's some interviews from back in the day on different magazines where he's talked about it. But he um he doesn't really discuss Leviathan that much. And I would like to actually see an interview with him where he talks about it in a little more in depth. Why wasn't the old man in RoboCop 3? At least Johnson came back. It's probably something to do with they didn't really know what to do with RoboCop 3 because the way that this second film ended, it was almost if the old man was going to be like the new villain, and maybe they were just like, we don't really want to go that route, so we're just going to replace him with Rip Torn. No, Weller dropped out of the film because he had scheduling conflicts. He was busy shooting Naked Lunch with David Cronenberg, and he couldn't get out of that in order to do RoboCop 3, and Orion wasn't willing to wait for him to be available, and so he was like, "Well, good luck." What role would I have loved to have had Peter Weller in the 90s? I don't know. I really don't know. I'd have to think about different 90s stuff that Weller could have slated himself in. That is an interesting question though. I guess maybe some kind of I don't know the exact film, but it might have been nice to have seen Weller in a crime drama. You know, maybe he could be like a detective or something, and like a crime drama directed by a really well known, well established a director. What's one of my favorite Scream Factory cover arts? That's kind of a tough one. I'd have to look at their cover arts again. I do really like the RoboCop 2 cover art they did for it with the red and the black coloring. I think that's really cool looking. Um, and there's definitely others. I like their Big Trouble in Little China art that they did. Which, by the way, that movie, can we please get a 4K remaster of that? Like, why is that the only John Carpenter film not in 4K right now? Other than some of the other movies that are lesser known. Like, that's the last big one for me. Like, Village of the Damned is in 4K now. It's a really great looking transfer, by the way. But Big Trouble in Little China? No. Like Scream Factory, it seems like their rights for Big Trouble lapsed recently too. So I'm like, who is doing it? Because it's gotta be in the pipeline sometime. Maybe because it's Fox and Disney. Maybe that's why it's not out yet. That's another one, Austin. In the Mouth of Madness. That's the last one I would probably say that I would really needs a 4K. That sounds like it could be an Arrow one, because Arrow's been doing a lot of New Line stuff. They've been doing, Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell. Um, maybe they will do In the Mouth of Madness. Um, I'm looking forward to the Jason Goes to Hell 4K, by the way, but I'm gonna wait on it. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna pre-order it right away. I'm just gonna wait on that, because it's not one that I think is gonna sell out super fast. Even though it's Friday the 13th related, that film has a lot of people who hate that movie, who think it sucks ass. I think it's trash. Um, even in the Friday the 13th fan base, especially in that fan base, to be perfectly honest. But I love it. I love Jason Goes to Hell. See you, Don. Thanks for dropping by. That might have been interesting. Weller and LA Confidential. Okay. That might be interesting. I think it would have been cool to see Peter Weller in a William Friedkin film. He kind of seems like a director that would probably work well with Peter. Like Peter Weller and Jade, something like that. Um, yeah, Jason X likely won't sell out either. Paul Verhoeven PR people call me and say I could talk about 15 minutes to him. Um, first off, I would just thank him for his prolific and really fun and memorable career. But honestly, I would talk to him about a lot of the projects that never got made. I would talk to him about Crusade, the film he was going to do with Arnold Schwarzenegger. that never got made. Like I would talk about stuff like that. I would talk to him about the fun stories that he had on certain sets and what he would like to share, when it comes to his experiences on set on various different films. And then, just like to kind of just get an idea of not only what his favorite films are that he's done, but what some of his favorite films are in general, what some of his favorite movies are, that aren't just the ones that he's directed, just to kind of get an idea of like what kind of movies were inspirations for him for his career. No, I haven't done Cobra Kai. I would consider it. All I have to say is because it's so many episodes, that would definitely have to be a considerable donation. Because that's a lot of time. Um, with The Sopranos, I'll just say it outright. I was given like $100 a while back. And even now I'm thinking like that I'm honestly, because of just how much time I've spent doing Sopranos, it would actually be something that I would probably be like maybe a little bit more than that. But like I said, it would have to be a considerable amount because of the fact that there's just so many seasons and there's so many episodes. But I'd be open to it. Um, but it's just one of those things where I would definitely want a certain amount of compensation for it. Because I work part time and there's all that going on, and it just takes a while to do TV shows in particular. I would say those are probably the ones that probably take me the longest to watch and also review. I don't really have any plans for another live stream commentary unless somebody requests one. Eraser could be fun. Or I got a rainy night or something, or have the night off, and I just want to do something different. Maybe I might save a racer for some kind of random live commentary one night. But I would like to start doing more of these, to be honest. Even if they're not requests, just kind of watch some of my favorite movies. Just kind of just chat about them. Like maybe do a live stream commentary on Inner Space, which I love. Stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I got some other stuff I gotta get done tonight. I got some more things I need to watch and some other videos I want to try to record for the channel. So I'm probably gonna call it a night. But thank you everybody for joining in tonight on the RoboCop live stream fan commentary. And until the next commentary or live stream, I'll see you later. And thank you for your cooperation. Good night.